The ecstasy
I
of
like watching
gold.
sci-fi, man. Like I quit with all the space movies and all that shit for a minute, but really I'm able to suspend disbelief, man, at the click of a mental button. So like I get into sci-fi, even Star Wars. I mean, like Star Trek shit like that. I don't know. I don't know. I like it. I don't want to see something that happens. If I'm watching entertainment, I want to see something crazy and impossible. You know, that's just my opinion.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
impossible because they're not talking about space when they're actually making movies on space, right? It's about something else.
Well, the whole Space Odyssey thing is just a really great format for storytelling because it's like stories in a world where there's like unexplored continents and adventuring into new lands because every planet has the opportunity to be just like something very exotic and new and different and surprising. So it's just a good formula to use.
It's not about space. It's about different countries. Like I mean, if you watch Star Wars, I mean they're talking about the Middle East when they're talking about Jabba and all that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I get.
that's it's not about some planet with aliens. And when they're talking about aliens, it's kind of racist way of saying, the Middle Eastern people, the Semitic people, and all that. That's what they're getting at. They're not getting at space. It's not in space. It's down here on Earth, beneath the dome.
Like in
Yeah.
Star Wars, they had like the one aliens playing saxophone and trumpet and stuff, and then you had like the aliens like with the kung fu hats and shit. Like I see what you're saying now that I think about it.
Promotion of diversity, in the military and in officers. That's exactly what they're getting at. They're trying to portray Indians, Middle Easterns, and all those people as aliens. I mean, talk about racism. You know what I mean? Like that's what they're doing over here. That's exactly how they actually mind control people to promote diversity. All those things, all those leftist agendas. Hollywood is controlled by these people. Not just the movies, even the music. The music, television shows, all of it.
Yeah, but space exploration movies offer like the same thing, the Wild West does, or like an unexplored world, but you can step it up a notch and have the technology be more advanced because you can't have unexplored continents on a world that's technologically advanced because they would have already been able to travel and map out their entire world. So the only place that a technologically advanced civilization has left to explore, would be then another planet. And so it's kind of it's sort of a thing that only it can do.
Yeah, but not really. Like, if we know the space, the shape of the Earth, and all the truth, I mean, technology is not what we think it is, right? I mean, it has its limitations. It's not really what we think it is. So it's all symbolism, allegory, and all these other literary devices being used to tell a story, which is based on the Earth. What is happening over here? That's what they're talking about. But in a very, symbolic way. It's hidden, within the
Dude,
metaphors.
you got me thinking of
Yeah.
another one. Or Orbiter 9. It's a Spanish movie, right? It's got English. They talk in English, but I think they're Spanish. But I don't watch many movies like that. But it's a real good one. I was gonna tell you just to kind of relate with you, but I don't want to blow it for anybody who wants to watch it. I think it's called
Not
Orbiter
gonna watch.
9.
Mm.
It's crazy though, man. Really good. It's not that old. I think it's on Netflix, but that's a real good movie. And you think it's about space, but I don't want to really say much more than that.
Yeah, but that's the thing, that's the point that I'm trying to make. If you look at Hollywood, they cast spells, right? It's the machine with which the elite, I mean, the secret societies, they cast spells upon the people. So the thing is, what they're basically doing is, releasing these movies to, kind of, get people into this kind of stasis, like in a dream state, subliminal state, That's exactly what they're doing. So that, later on when they do something like, the C-19 thing that they did, if they do something like that, nobody would be able to understand it. Like they will be under the impression that this is actually real. But it's all just a spell. I mean, do you know the word Hollywood, where it actually comes from, the etymology of the word? The word
Yeah.
Hollywood actually comes from
Oh,
the tree,
you don't want
the
an
tree
answer?
that, yeah, the tree. Yeah, I know that. The tree that the druids
You
used to
know that
cut
I
and,
know?
yeah. The the tree that the druids used to cut down and then burn and then keep the person whom they're going to sacrifice, they just make them sit and smell the smoke, and then the guy goes into a stasis or something. He gets hypnotized and the druids can actually commit a sacrifice. That's what we are being told. So it's called holly wood, the wood of the tree holly. So yeah, and
What
it's
what
pretty
city?
much
What city was Hollywood before Hollywood? What was the movie capital of the world before Hollywood took over?
I don't think Hollywood existed even during the 19th century. It was pretty much in the 20th century
Probably
when it came out.
Orlando.
Come on, man. Don't distract from his question. What's the answer? I don't know.
Berlin.
Answer to what?
Berlin, Germany was the movie capital of the world. Same people putting on the movies in Berlin are the same people putting on the movies in Hollywood.
Yeah. And talk about Germany. I mean, you know what happened in the last century over there. So everybody who was there shifted their place from there to the Americas. After all that happened. So it was all about relocating. From Germany to somewhere else. It wasn't about what we are being told. You know what I mean? So they were relocating. That's
What
exactly what they were
city?
Dude, I was
doing.
on a
What city?
cruise. I was on a cruise with Heinrich Himmler's freaking great grandson or his grandson. But he had a few things to tell me, man. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. So that's what this is all about. They relocated. And then they carried out their operations over here, I mean, in the US for the last 60, 70 years. And now we see the C-19 and all these things, the 911s. All these things are nothing but rituals. I mean, you guys know that, right?
You're preaching to the choir.
What city was the first transformer surgery performed in? Where was it
Egypt.
invented?
Invented.
Wow, that's not where the credit is also Berlin, Germany.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
It was
you
a
said
hub.
what
It was
country
it was an
in
epicenter.
Africa.
Hey, yeah, you know what's
Tyler.
crazy? Yeah, you
Go
know the
ahead.
first place that one of the first places that like Hitler burned books was like actually like a trans like it was one of those stores. Like it's kind of wild when you look into it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, the
like
guy was,
moral depravity central.
yeah, all that the guy did was to erase ancient history, important texts and all the important stuff that was necessary for humanity. And then, in the pretense of, destroying the J people, he was actually destroying, the common people's achievements and all these things that they wanted to hide. That's what he actually did. But he's notorious for other things which he did not do. That's how they play the game. And we know he did not even die after the war, right? He just ran away.
Yeah, it's crazy. Isn't it like there's like a farmer in Wisconsin that people thought was Hitler or something like that. Like at one point.
Yeah. People love him for the wrong reasons, I mean, the false reasons. He was not what people think he was. I mean, all of them, the right, the left, they all are mistaken about this guy.
Yeah, but he was also interestingly like propped up in a lot of ways too. Like he was at the Warburgs or something like that like funded the
Yeah,
whole
thanks
lot of
to,
that shit.
thanks to JP Morgan and the Bank of England and all these guys, they were the ones who propped him up. They were
Yeah,
actually,
it's great.
funding him.
It's crazy, and didn't like Ford, like it was crazy. There was like a socialist movement in the States, even like and like Henry Ford was cool with it, fucking because the production side of it, and then like Coca-Cola, like Fanta Orange and IBM and shit. You ever seen that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, all these guys were there.
Hey,
They
yo,
were
you know what's
pumping.
crazy is the first fucking use of computers was in statistics. And freaking, pardon me one sec. And so the first use of computer was statistics, and it was used for the computers that were reading the tattoos of the people in the concentration camps. So those numbers were the first like serial numbers that were put into the machines that tabulated
That's
everything.
IG Farben.
Yeah, and then became fucking IBM or something. Even it's crazy.
Yeah, and the people who were inside the concentration camps were not Semitic people. They were native Germans and all these other, you know, I would say Christians, but native people of Europe. So the whole story that we are being told about the whole six, the number six, and all that bullshit, it's just nonsense. I mean, it's obvious that it was nonsense. Fake. It's just made up. But obviously, most people cannot see through it. So
Well,
that's the
that's what I
problem.
think
That's the
so
reason.
cool. Is you got to remember, dude. This is something I keep trying to reiterate. Is like we live in the age of information. This is the first time in history people have access to all of this information, and it's like it's not going to happen overnight, but it's happening. Like I mean, the fact that I know